Greetings, YouTube. I had someone post a comment recently on a video, and the comment was, "You aren't helping us. Don't call yourself an ally." Now, I don't know who us is, and my reply to him is, "Who's us, and how have I failed as an ally?" Um, but the critique was legitimate. I think that this particular comment is a little questionable because they're claiming to represent an entire group. Okay, that could be questionable. And they did not give any details about how I failed to be an ally of this particular group. But the fact that I could fail to be a good ally is not in question. While I strive to be a good ally, it does not mean I always succeed, and it does not mean that there is not huge room for improvement. I know that even though in the past I considered myself to be an ally of women, I was a shit feminist. I was an asshole. I was so deeply steeped in my male privilege that I was just causing collateral damage everywhere. And I know that I never really began to face the true depths of America's racism until after November 2016. And I know as a white person, I have benefited from racist institutions that have helped put me where I am today. Institutions that helped make sure that my family were homeowners, whereas many people who are not white were not homeowners. Benefited from the fact that my parents got jobs that I know that there were lots of people that weren't white that could probably have worked those jobs, but they were never going to get those jobs because they weren't white. So I have benefited from white supremacy, even though I have never actively been a white supremacist, and I oppose them now. But I recognize that I have benefited from white supremacy, and what I can do now is do everything I can to oppose white supremacy. So the idea that I am beyond critique is bullshit. Of course I'm not beyond critique. No one is. And if someone wants to critique my allyship in a legitimate, real way, I'm going to listen. And they may have a legitimate comment. It may be a personal beef, or they could just be a troll. This is the internet, after all. Cat running away. The fact that this person left no details makes me think that maybe it isn't as legitimate as it could be. But I think it's important for all of us out there who consider ourselves to be allies, particularly if you are in the whitest white boy that ever walked out of a White Town set, to make sure that you are keeping in check your progress, that you are watching it, that you are making sure that you are doing the best you can, and you are causing as little harm as possible in the process. Because no one's above reproach. No one is above improvement. And that's really important. I saw something the other day on, I think it might have been Tumblr, where an Asian woman, she might have been a Korean, had gotten her hair braided in a very black style of hair care. It's a very traditional African style of hair care. And at the time she got it, she wasn't aware of what it was. And then she learned that this could very much be seen as cultural appropriation. And so during this video talking about this, she begins to unbraid the braids. And that's called growth. You made a mistake, you learn from it, you move forward. And I can make a mistake. I'm hoping I can learn from it, and I'm hoping I can move forward. I just need details. I don't need vague comments. You're not an ally to us. Okay, and who's us, and how am I failing as an ally is a legitimate response to that. Give me details. I have some experience at this kind of thing. This is not my first rodeo. And I think I'm getting better at checking my own privilege. But again, no one's perfect. So I want to open this topic up, and any people out there who consider themselves to be allies, have you ever caught yourself failing? And did you have to reassess how you came at a situation because of that? And anyone out there who is a member of a minority group, or if you are a woman hoping to find male allies when it comes to feminism and helping to change the institutionalized misogyny, sexism we currently live under, can you give an example of someone that you thought was an ally and how they failed? And did they learn from it? And did they change? Or did they fail to? And they ceased to be your ally? So I think this is a rich vein of conversation. So let's see if we can get something constructive out of this very vague comment from this person, which could or could not be real. I kind of sort of recognize the person's name, but they don't comment here often, at least not in the current era. You have to realize after a decade, there are people who pop up sometimes. They're like, I haven't commented in 6 years. That kind of thing happens on my channel. I've been here long enough for that to happen. So let's hoping that I get more details about that particular person's remark, and maybe I can learn something from it. And maybe it's what that something is I learned is that this person is disingenuous. But in the process, let's see what you and I can learn about being a good ally or helping teach people to be good allies.